Welcome back to UK Battle Rap News Daily. It's your boy Professor Banner, aka Hulk. We have got another episode of I've Got a Zoom So Big. Today we've got a special guest, Natty Beats. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello. For those who don't know, Natty Beats has been a staple in UK battle rap for a long time. She was a part of Don't Flop, and we're going to kind of get into that really. So I kind of met you through Don't Flop. I think you was actually at my Liquid battle. You was probably involved with Don't Flop a long before me. I think you've got like a relationship with her from like back in the day as friends or whatever. Like, do you want to break that down a little bit? College,
yeah, we went to college together from like the age of 16. I still can't get used to people calling him her. Like, he's literally just running to me. He always has been. I remember when I first came to a Don't Flop battle, and I was like, and everyone was like all crowding around him and being like, yo, and I was like, what's going on, man? He's just my friend from college. What's going on? So yeah, that was quite a
it must have been mad, because then you're probably one of the people who kind of saw this whole kind of stardom of Don't Flop, like growing up from, you know, the bottom. Did you kind of see, like, obviously us like lost a lot of blood, and you know he's fell out with a lot of people over the years, and people have accused him of being all sorts. But have you ever seen a change in do you kind of still see him as the same do you think that he has changed with the massive success of Don't Flop and stuff since the 16-year-old college friend?
Yeah, I think he did change for a bit, but I think that, like, from what I've seen from him recently, like, he's completely changed back into just lovely Rowan again. I think that with anything, I think that people can expect to get a bit of an ego when they have that sort of success around stuff, especially when it's rap, for fuck's sake. I mean, do you know what I mean? Everyone's like broing each other up, and it's all like it's all a show, it's all a bravado. Like, I'm not just talking about him, I'm talking about generally my experience of most rappers I've met. That is just like the scene, do you know what I mean? It's like saving face, it's all of that. And maybe he did go into that a bit far. Like, I don't really have an opinion or really know about the ins and outs of everything that went on. I moved to LA, and we kind of lost touch for a while anyway. And when I came back, like, we had a massive sit down, and I think he'd realized a lot of stuff, that he kind of owned up a lot of stuff where maybe he'd gone wrong or made the wrong decisions, but he was completely fucking manned up about it, and was, yeah, just a sweetheart like he always has been. All my friends are sweethearts.
Fair enough. So you actually kind of got involved with Don't Flop, and I remember you did the Mistress of Rhyme thing. The MORE, I remember that still. I was really looking forward to that to take off, man. Like, what happened with that?
So, well, the same as what happens with a lot of my business projects over the years, Mistress of Rhyme Entertainment was, as my mum used to call them, an expensive hobby rather than a business. To me, it was a business. But I basically spent 2 years, my whole thing with it, I didn't have a lot of business sense back then. I was really good at creating things, but I was crap at making money. And my whole premise behind it was that I wanted to promote female artists. And I really, really fucking hated all of these channels that were like pay to play, and people that were like only getting people known if you had money or whatever. And I knew that there was so much raw talent out there that I was really passionate about making sure that I paid for everything, and I drove to them and I did their video, and, you know what I mean, make sure that everything was free, so that it was all about them and it was all about their talent. Unfortunately, that obviously cost a lot of money. I spent some inheritance while I was doing it, and some other money that I was earning, which we won't talk about that. But yeah, it ended up pretty much just an expensive hobby, unfortunately. And it fizzled out more into the flow down. I did like the underground rap competitions, which turned into the flow down. And again, it was a lot of stress, and I couldn't earn enough to live off it. And at the time I was making money in a way that I didn't really want to make money anymore. So I pretty much jumped ship and turned into a personal trainer, like, overnight.
I suppose it's good that you can obviously say, like, you know, you wasn't happy with the situation and you changed it, and that's a good message to show that a lot of people out there as well. You don't just carry on living something that you're not happy with, and you can change it.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between being tenacious and really, really wanting to make something work, and just ignoring all of your own personal boundaries and running yourself into the ground, which is something, again, I've learned time and time again over the years. I had so much passion, and I still have so much passion for music, and I had so much passion for Mistress of Rhyme, and who knows what would happen in the future of that. But it got to the point where I realized that I was putting all of those people that I wanted to help before me, and it comes to that thing of realizing you can't help from an empty cup. So I don't know who the fuck I thought they were basically non-profits that I was running, and I don't know who the hell I thought I was running a non-profit when I wasn't even earning enough to pay tax or pay my bills. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of had everything backwards, but I've learned over the years, so it's fine. And it was a lot of fun.
Fair enough. No, I mean, from what I saw and from what obviously came out of Mr. Brand, it was good. So like, you was trying to get all the ladies involved and stuff, and even with battle rap and stuff. But you obviously made music as well, didn't you? So
used to. Yeah, my first rap that I wrote, which was called Chav, that was supposed to be like a comedy rap, actually just got picked up by Flex FM, and they picked it up and they put it into a bargain bucket bars contest because they thought it was like a real rap, and it got played on radio for 4 weeks before someone sent it to me. I didn't know what they were playing it for, so I called them up. I didn't know it was like they were taking the piss. I was like, these people are playing my bars. They're calling me Chav MC. I'm going to call them up. So I called up DJ Solly and was like, yo, why are you playing my bars for? He was obviously shitting himself on the other end because he thought that I knew they were taking the piss out of me. I ended up, long story short, flipping the conversation round. Obviously, I laughed about it because it is supposed to be a parody. It's a comedy rap. It's great that it got airtime. I flipped it around and was like, as you've just played me on radio, I think you should interview me. I ended up getting myself like a 10-minute interview on primetime Flex FM in the morning. They got me to spit some bars live, chat about music. It was great.
Okay. So what, we're going to get a return, yeah? Chav Part 2?
Well, I'm actually writing at the moment a track. I've got to finish a track called A Letter to Boris Johnson, which was, I spat a section of it live on Flex FM and they want me to send it to them to play it, but it's pretty much all about lockdown and the pandemic and how they are basically shutting down music events with no science to prove it. And it will get people hyped when it's out, but I'm dipping my toe back in. That's going to be drum and bass as well, going back to my roots.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be sick and looking out for that. Who's your like favorite female rappers and stuff at the moment? Who's the ladies doing it for you at the moment?
To be honest, I'm really shit at names, and most of the people that I know are people that I just know from back in the day. So like Shady is shit, is sick. Sorry, is shit. Oh my god, Shady is sick. Fantastic. She should have less SH in her name. If she's listening, I'm so sorry. Who else? I like the female all-stars. I see them popping up. And my swagger friend, Mel SD, is obviously the sickest rapper in the whole world.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. We were actually at a house party together at the weekend, first time in ages, getting drunk in someone's kitchen. We ended up putting on a whole grime show.
Yeah, I wish I was there.
It was so much fun. Yeah, no, but mostly, I mean, if I'm honest, most of the music I listen to at the moment isn't rap. I listen to country music. I listen to country, I play country and like sing on guitar. So
any recommendations? I like Jolene.
For country,
yeah.
John Party's amazing. He's like country rock. If you want to go old school, Kenny Rogers and Kenny Chesney, all the Kennys, they're sick. I love it. I love country music. It like speaks to my soul.
It's all right. No, there's a couple tunes. I like Jolene. From what's her name?
The most well known. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
And that Conway Twitty guy, I know him from Family Guy because they always cut in Conway Twitty.
I don't know that one.
See?
I probably know a song. See, look, I don't know. There's a guy called Breland, Breland, who does this really sick like country trap. It's so good. Don't touch my truck. I feel like that's what kind of Bubba Sparks was. Do you remember Bubba Sparks? He was quite big at that song. I know the name, but you would have to play me something. I'm honestly, I should always say this before I go on anything where I'm being interviewed that's to do with music, that I am so shit at knowing anyone's name or who anyone is. Like even back in the day when I was in the music industry for years, even when I was building a record label in LA, no clue. You could have introduced me to anyone, and unless you literally play me their music, I'm like, I recognize that guy. Is he off the TV? And they're like, yeah, it's this person. I'm like, nope, don't know.
No, I'm similar still. I'm similar. But so one thing I was always surprised with, like obviously you was involved in kind of Don't Flop, the Mistress of Rhyme, you've got music. Why have we never seen a Natty Beats battle?
I
Why?
was wondering if you were going to ask me
Why?
that. To be honest, I'm not against it. It's something that me and Rowan have like spoke about, joked about over the years. And he pretty much has always said to me that the door is open, but also in the pretty much the same breath, but you know if you choke it's going to break my fucking heart. And I'm like, because
I was not
knowing
biased.
everyone.
I was not biased. He'll treat you just as horribly as he'll treat
mate, even more. He would rip the fuck into me, and Mickey would, and just everyone, like everyone from back in the day. When I was hanging out with all you guys loads and coming to all the events and everything, because I knew everyone so well, and even seeing all you lot up there, as soon as someone choked a little bit, it would literally make me feel like I was going to throw up and cry. Like it was the most horrible being in that front row and just having that. It's horrible. I couldn't imagine that happening to me and all of my close friends at the time. Do you know what I mean? Standing there, all top tier battlers or whatever, standing there watching me. It was just too much pressure. It was too much pressure. One person who I absolutely bloody love this guy. One person who I joked with before about, I said, if I ever did do a battle, I'd want it to be with Calcium Kid, just because I know that he wouldn't be a cunt to me. He wouldn't bring up any of the bad stuff. This is the thing as well. I'd have to be careful who I battled, because I partied a lot with everyone back in the day and supplied most people's party goods. Got people fucked up before they run the stage, and they all have stories to tell about me running around at festivals off my face, wobbling around. So I've
got to do a few interviews with them and find out the real juicy stuff.
Pretty much. I remember saying to Mickey years ago, I was like, to Mickey Worthless, I was like, why don't you battle me? And he was like, Nats, trust me, you don't want me to battle you. I'm fucking like, he literally just listed. I was like, oh, no, never happening. Literally never. Oh God. So yeah, so probably fear of having things dragged up, and just also fear of completely choking. But again, never say never.
I got a recommendation for good female versus female battles. Natty Beats versus Mac Sherry. That would be just,
versus who?
Mac Sherry. Don't know. He's a legend anyway. He's a legend. Top tier.
There we go. But I reckon me and Mel should do one that we can rehearse, because that would be hilarious.
2-on-2 versus Shuffle T and Marlo.
I don't think we're quite there. It would be funny. Maybe an April Fool's, and the April Fool's is when we get there, we're not allowed on stage. Like, sorry girls, no. We did always say as well, me and Mel said that probably because she also had the door obviously left open for her, because she's an absolute sick rapper, amazing freestyler. She felt the same as me, but we did always say we'd probably be able to cope with it a lot better if there was two of us up there. I'm really good at pre-written and like learning my bars to death. And Mel is so good at freestyle, so I feel like we used to compliment each other quite a lot on stage. If I forgot my bars or something, she could jump in with a freestyle, and if she ran out of shit to say, I'd just spit another written. So yeah, if I ever did it, probably a 2-on-2, but let's not talk it up too much, eh?
We'll be waiting, we're anticipating it. So obviously you've not really been around in the battle rap scene as much as of recent, kind of drifted away. As you said, you changed your career path and stuff. So what are you doing now?
So now, just moving straight into, I am a psychic intuitive energy healer, which I bet most people watching did not expect me to say that.
So what does that mean, even?
So basically, well, I was a personal trainer until last year. I basically went through what most people would refer to as a spiritual awakening. I pretty much hate most of the terms around all of this, just because I've never been into the whole spiritual industry. I've always found it really wafty. I've just been like, it's a bunch of hippies fucking waving smudge stick around and talking crap about their spirit guides. But what I went through was pretty much like a week of traumas that triggered something that basically kind of it felt like it ripped my soul apart. That's the only way that I can explain it. It broke me so much and put me so low that all of these psychic abilities opened up in me, which again, up until that happened last year ago, if someone said this to me, I would have said they were full of shit. So I'm fully aware of how crazy it might sound. But since then, I've gone from being like, what the fuck is going on, to channeling spirits, exploring past lives, doing healing on people, basically doing healings that should be medically impossible. So having clients come to me with a problem and I'm like, I don't know, I'll give it a go. And then they leave and they're like, you know that I've had that for like 10 years, this thing with my shoulder or my stomach, or do you know what I mean? Something I've been carrying around, and I've seen this doctor and that specialist and no one's helped me. And I've just seen you for an hour and it's gone. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is obviously something that I should be doing with my life. So I pretty much just jumped ship and followed my intuition. And yeah, if I'm honest, it was the best thing I've ever done. I've never been so kind of happy in my own skin, I guess. I've always been.
Do you mind me asking, is that like your main day job now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's something
also,
that it's like your passion, it's something that you're passionate about, but it's also like your main bread and butter, basically.
Yeah, not to sound wafty, but it's pretty much my soul's purpose. Like that everyone, when they are incarnated into this life, will have certain things that they are supposed to be doing. People refer to people like me as like light workers, so they're people who should spread light in the world. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a psychic or a healer. Like, you're spreading light in the world doing this podcast. Like, people do it through music. People who smile extra in the bank and ask you how your day is, they're light workers as well. They're just spreading it in a different way. But yeah, I'm just very lucky that I guess found my purpose, especially after so many career changes.
I agree. I feel like, obviously not in the same sense, but similarly, obviously, my career for the last 10 years has been working with young people in employability and personal development, helping them get into employment. I managed youth clubs for a while, but obviously that's all come after me going to prison and stuff. Like, so again, like you're saying, I feel like my purpose is that, like, I couldn't see myself waking up and doing anything else for a living other than like music or something that I thoroughly love. Like, I don't think I could go and work in a shop or in an office or something unless it was for a purpose or something like what I'm doing now.
No.
So.
But that is a type of awakening in itself. Like, just like I'm trying really hard not to get attached to the labels. Like, a big part of what I do now is I teach spirituality without the bullshit, and I'm on a massive mission, which is why I'm on this podcast tonight. Part of the reason is I'm trying to talk about this stuff in circles that it wouldn't normally be talked about, so that I can normalize it, because there's so much fucking stigma around psychic abilities and healing and channeling spirits and all that it's a bunch of woo-woo, or it's evil, or it's scary, or whatever. And it's the most fucking natural thing in the world. It's just society and the government and whatever else has programmed us. Like, they don't want us to be sentient beings. They don't want everyone to be able to think for themselves and have access to their own intuition. They want us to be sheep. So they've programmed it into us.
They say like people like Isaac Newton and stuff, when they died, it was discovered that they were looking into a lot of spirituality and stuff, but obviously they tried to keep it covered up in the mainstream press and stuff like that. So a lot of people have done it, but because we're from such a Christian society and everything is like magic and devil, so it's like it's just all kind of given a really bad name, and it's like. So.
Yeah, and it's really hard breaking through that. Like, it took me like 8 months to come out of my spiritual closet, which was literally felt like a thing. It took me all that time. I was doing this amazing work, and then online on my social media, I still wasn't talking about it. I was using the word healing here and there, but I wasn't really fucking saying what I was doing. And then I did a video, which was really, really difficult, in November, of me saying this massive things happened to me. Like, I can channel spirits, yes, I can do energy healing, all of this stuff, and I don't want to feel alone anymore, blah 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 blah. If anyone else has had this, like, let me know. And fuck me, the response was insane. Like, I had comments and comments and comments of people with their own experiences, people coming into my inbox being like, I don't want to say this in public, but this has been happening. And that's kind of spiraled into what my current job and my current mission is, because so many people, the reason why everyone thinks that the people will think they're crazy with this stuff is that no one talks about it. So if everyone started talking about it, you'd probably find that there is people in your friendship circle that have like heard or seen a spirit or had an incident like a near-death experience, or do you know what I mean? All of this stuff is actually pretty common.
And even like, I suppose, typical religion, like mainstream religion, like in Islam there's jinns, so there's obviously evil spirits and there's good spirits. In Christianity as well, you've got like angels and stuff like that. So it's not like something that it doesn't relate to. It relates to everyone, but people would obviously cut off from it because of the terminology used in it, I suppose.
Yeah. At first I was trying to find different ways to talk about it, to relate to people. Now I am just basically reclaiming the word. So I'm talking about spirituality, but like I'm just starting my podcast called Spirituality Without the Bullshit. So I want to be living proof that you don't have to walk, talk, dress and act a certain way to utilize these spiritual practices, to access your own psychic channels and everything. Like I'm going to do all of this work, but I'm still going to do it wearing a fucking Adidas tracksuit with my fake gold and do you know what I mean? Saying fuck every other word, because that's just part of me. Like I think people think that if you suddenly go through an awakening or you walk the spiritual path, that you have to start dressing in a caftan or wearing all white and talking like this with your voice. And it's just not the fucking case, mate. It's 2021. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough. But I suppose the biggest question is, can you kind of bring Don't Flop and UK battle rap back from the dead?
Can me?
Can you help us, please?
Well, a couple of years ago, was it 2019? Me and Rowan got together and I created the drum and bass leg of Don't Flop, the Warheads battles.
That was sick.
Yeah, so good. So that was something. I mean, and I did like some presenting with them, and I wanted to get back into it. Again, I was flip-flopping around with my career at the time, because over the years I've never been able to find anything that was actually my thing. Business has always felt like a struggle to me. Now I'm like, to be honest, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's the easiest business I've ever run, because shit is just falling in place, that it's doing what I've always wanted for running my own business, of freeing up my time to put into stuff that I want to do. So that's why I'm starting to do music again. So I mean, when the world opens up so many times in a day, but when the world opens up again, like I would be totally open to like getting Warheads going again, doing an event again, and just getting back out there. With regards to like getting Don't Flop up from the ashes, I don't know. I guess people will just have to start coming to the events again.
We need that spiritual energy. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you can do it. You can heal us.
I'll do some cursing. I'll lure people in. I'll do like a free psychic reading for battle rappers or something.
Now, when you come to Don't Flop, you're just going to see like random crystals in the corner and stuff. Like, just ignore it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I'll put a hex on the other channels. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I never do anything bad.
I pick up all the channels. So have you watched any battle rap recently?
No, not for ages. The only ones that I watch are when I get a bit smashed and it's like 2 a.m. in someone's kitchen and I'm like, do you remember back in the day, man? We put on like all the really old ones, like all the really famous ones from back in the day, especially any that like me and Mel are in the back of, like, oh look, there we are with Mickey and Kruger, like, oh god. But no, I haven't really watched any new ones, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I do miss it though.
When and where are we going to be able to check out this podcast and stuff that you're doing?
So the podcast that I'm doing now, called Spirituality Without the Bullshit, I'm launching on Monday. Yes, Monday. I'm launching on Monday. It should be on, I'm putting it through Anchor, and I think they put it on like Spotify, Google Podcasts, all them. So it should be on all the channels. But if you want to hear it, if you follow me on Instagram at Natty Beats, Beats with 2 T's, mind, then you'll be able to find pretty much everything about everything that I do. And if you're listening to this and interested in the spiritual stuff, and you've maybe had some fucking weird shit going on and you feel alone and scared and don't know who to talk to, hit me up, man. My inbox is full of that shit, and you'd be surprised at how many people out there are going through the weirdness as well at the moment. 2020 was a big year for awakenings, past trauma coming up, people having massive mental breakdowns. If you Google spiritual awakening and psychotic episode and put them next to each other, almost exactly the same symptoms. So don't listen to the doctors, guys, listen to me.
Yeah, the views
I
and
didn't
opinions.
really say that.
The views
Go
and
to your
opinions of
doctor.
Natty Beats do not. We don't. We can't really endorse. See the doctors.
No,
Definitely
of
see
course,
the doctor.
you should totally consult your physician if you have any worries. But also, just come and watch my spiritual awakening video and see if it wakes something up in you.
Sick. Yeah, so I will, if there's any links and stuff, just send me any links. I'll pop them in the description of the video. And hopefully we'll get you back on for a chat, for a little update soon, and see where things are going and how things are progressing, and your new podcast.
Well, hopefully when we start doing some more music, when the world opens up again and there's events and shit, I'd love to even just come down and do some more presenting at Don't Flop. I had so much fun at the tryout battles, literally just getting people to take the piss out of me and just bantering with everyone all day. It was so much fun. They were all so nervous.
I want to see more Warheads. Who was your favorite? Who was your favorite from the Warheads?
Wiser.
Wiser.
Yeah, I fucking love that girl. She's so good. In fact, yeah, what am I on about? Female rappers. Go check out Wiser. Y-Zer, I think is how she spells her name. Yeah. She just brought out an album called Versatility, and it is like sick. She's going places. Go check her. She's amazing.
I remember D Lady was quite sick as well on Warhead.
She's really sick. She didn't come to the battle. She didn't come to the battle, but we promoted her a lot. I've shared a lot of her stuff. She is an absolute sick MC. Yeah. Also, why when you say female rappers, I forget about all the fucking female MCs I love. All the drum and bass MCs. Yeah, the lady is also absolutely sick.
Cool. Yeah, so thank you. Guys, you've been watching UK Battle Rap News Daily. Make sure you follow Natty Beats, big history in UK battle rap. We just spoke about some of it. Follow her new ventures. Make sure you're subscribed to UK Battle Rap News Daily. Like, comment, share. Tell your mom I said safe. Peace out.
Sick.